Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Sprinkle Brothers podcast. I'm Brett Sprinkle, Brandon Shanahan joining me. Tyler Sprinkle may join us a little bit later. Brandon, how the hell are you?
I'm good, man. Rise and grind. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, it's 9:30 East Coast time, Saturday morning. We're changing a little new recording time, mostly out of necessity, but this one's a little earlier than I think we'll try to do in the future. But I have to see you up. What are you up doing today? You said the earlier the better, so I'm curious as to what your plans are for today.
I got a wedding to go to.
Oh,
Object number one. Went golfing yesterday. Had an 18-hole match where I only used a 7-iron and won. So that was pretty sick.
Are you that good at golf to where you have to be stipulated to only use certain clubs?
No, it was really just the guy I was playing was worse. And there was one cheating maneuver that I used that probably would be frowned upon by the USGA. Whenever I would get on the green within like 8 feet or so, I would get on my belly and use the club as like a cue stick.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out pretty well. I wish I could putt like that all the time.
I don't know why that wouldn't be allowed normally. I mean, if you could do that fucking shitty, stupid thing where you have like your fucking putter like this, I think you should be able to lay on the ground.
Well, I think the thing is that you can't like push the ball. I don't know what exactly that means, but I would imagine that would fall into that category because you used to just be able to take your
Oh, I see what you're saying.
push
Yeah, because
it.
you can't like glide it. You have to touch it and have the ball roll off the club. Okay,
Yeah.
I kind of see what you mean. I get it. Well, it's been we've had a 2-week hiatus. Apologies for that. The last week we're still trying to figure out our schedule. I started a new job. My first, I want to say 9 to 5 job, but it's I'm working PMs, working for a nightly news or a daily nightly news broadcast. So my hours are 3 to 11. So it kind of put a wrench in our recording times, especially for this last week. But we're going to figure it out. We're going to get back on track. I'm excited for a fun summer. I think, Brandon, I saw a tweet the other day that says Sean Payton says it's an open competition between Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, and Jared Stidham. And I want you to know I kind of died inside just a little bit, but I'm still hopeful moving forward.
I think you have to say that. I think you have to say that, especially this early on, where the only time you've gotten to see him is rookie minicamp. But if it's not Bo Nix week 1, then that's a problem.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point? You know?
I mean, he's like what? He's 24 years old.
Yeah.
He's played so much football. Either he's got it or he doesn't.
And that's where I'll agree with you. Like the 21-year-olds or 20-year-olds that come into the league and they expect to be good right away. Like, yeah, no, not really. But Bo Nix, you drafted him. I mean, that's what you said. Like, he has all the experience, blah, blah, blah. He has the accuracy. So either he has that shit and he's a starting quarterback or he doesn't. And we wasted the 14th pick in the NFL draft on him.
Well, and especially because when you draft Bo Nix, it's not because of his superb arm talents. It's because of the way he processes the game, how accurate he is. Those things are going to translate right away if they're actually there and are available at a high level. If it's not, then after a full off season, full rookie mini camp, then it's Zach Wilson season, I guess.
Zach Wilson season, I guess. Speaking of Zach Wilson, talking about the Jets, Justin Jefferson seen spotted at the Jets facility during Vikings OTAs. Is that just smoke, or do you think there might be a move coming?
It might be one of those kind of like OBJ style plays where he's flirting with other teams because he knows he's going to get a big deal, so he needs to get that locked up one way or the other. So he's probably just flirting around, trying to like, hey, the Jets would love to pay me $1 trillion.
I mean, I'm sure the Vikings would love to pay him $1 trillion. They just don't have $1 trillion.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. But like the things you would have to give up for Justin Jefferson to not get him on the open market, and then once you get him on the open market, the things you'd have to give up just to get him on your team, that is going to be so expensive. I don't see any world where he leaves Minnesota, to be honest. I think you're right. I think it's a little bit of OBJ, smoke and mirrors, just just acting out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what you need when a good diva wide receiver. That's how you know he's the best in the league, because he's acting out a little bit, trying to get attention.
And I mean, when you get a Justin Jefferson, you do, unless you can get like a surefire franchise 15-year quarterback for sure, blue chip. No, He's not leaving Minnesota, nor should he. That'd be crazy.
One look at JJ McCarthy and said, I'd like that guy with the metal Achilles instead.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't top 3 on our board for the Broncos. So I know JJ McCarthy. Never probably saw the Broncos board and he's like, wait a second, this doesn't look right.
Yeah. Hate to see it. I also saw the Jets got 6 primetime games this year. That feels excessive.
I think that's kind of hilarious because if there's a chance that experimental Achilles surgery didn't quite go as planned, Jets fans are going to be in shambles really early.
I would never root for, the injury of another man playing a sport that I watch as a consumer. That feels very barbaric, unless they play for the Iowa Hawkeyes or the Kansas City Chiefs.
Of course, respect.
Or the Los Angeles Lakers, or I guess there are exceptions. New York Yankees,
Oakland Raiders. I will say. I just want to say this. Before you finish. Anybody on the Raiders, I hope I don't have any remorse. I hope they all I hope nothing but horrific things happen to them, and that's not their fault. I just don't like them.
Well, that's I mean, they're in a different category. They're like,
I won't apologize for that.
Yeah, they're not people. Yeah, I mean, that's different. But it would be very funny if Aaron Rodgers' other Achilles, or even the same Achilles, I don't discriminate on which Achilles goes out. That would be very funny to me.
Yeah, like maybe he doesn't have to tear it, just like a tweak, just enough to scare Jets fans. That would be funny.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
especially because in an alternate reality, the Broncos are the Jets in this scenario.
What are you talking about?
If Aaron Rodgers had actually come to Denver,
I don't
hinting at for 2 years.
Was he ever really hinting at going to Denver?
I think so. Well, I mean, what other franchise quarterback is tied to a team that doesn't leak that out of his own camp like he did?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Denver's such a beautiful city. I don't know why you wouldn't want to play there normally. I feel like every team should want to go play there. That's
what I'm saying, man.
But actually, that does remind me though. Since you mentioned the primetime games, the schedule released. I got to be honest. All those like schedule release videos, they kind of got a little old to me. All of them were stale as hell. The Broncos was fucking lame as shit.
I hated the Broncos. I mean,
it was so dumb.
I appreciate you tapping into the coolness that Lewis Hamilton brings to the organization, but there's got to be a better way. Like,
I'm trying to think, maybe if he was like in a race car, doing something with that would have been cool. But no, he's just literally eating food and she's like, oh, is that ranch? I can't believe. I can't believe people in Indianapolis are eating fucking carrot sticks.
That was awful. I couldn't even get through it. The Chargers one I thought was funny, but yeah, every other one is like, all right, now we're all just trying to be like the Chargers.
Essentially, that's what it is. And like all the leaks, I just don't see the points in the schedule release anymore. Because half the fucking schedule was leaked before the official announcement. And yeah, by the time all the announcements came out, everyone knew the schedule. So we're just watching those videos like, why am I doing this? Why am I wasting the time doing this?
Well, not to mention that's not how I want to digest the schedule. I just want like a graphic. That's it.
Yeah, because honestly, I swear to God, I still don't know the Broncos schedule because it wasn't all put right in front of me. It was a video watching Lewis Hamilton eating food, and I honestly don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Well, the other thing about the Lewis Hamilton video, it was out of order. It was just the teams that they were playing. It wasn't even like.
Are you fucking joking me? I didn't even realize that.
Well, because I got a peek at the graphic. I was like, because I watched 30 seconds of it. I'm like, this isn't even helpful. We already knew what teams they were playing.
Funny.
What a disaster.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Do we get to talk about the new uniforms?
I'm sure we didn't. No, yeah, I'm sure we did. Yeah, we had to have.
Okay. Yeah, I think
we can go into it again. What's up? What do you got? What's on your mind?
I still hate them.
Okay.
And yeah, they're good to kind of see them in use with like the rookie mini camp, and I still think they suck. I
put that on the banner. Breaking news: Broncos uniforms still suck.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
I mean, but also like they were exactly what I was expecting them to be. Of like
they are who we thought they were.
Nonsense UFL expansion league on Madden kind of concept.
Trying to think of a good segue into this, but I'm just going to get into it. New details for NCAA 25 have been leaking out this month. I'm getting fucking stoked. I don't know about you.
I'm juiced. I'm 100% in. I just to shit on one thing about this, and this is probably the only thing I'll ever shit on when it comes to this game. I hated the cover, the standard cover, where it's just Quinn, Travis, and Donovan just screaming at the camera for some reason.
I'll tell you why it's kind of cool, because it's the first time current college players have ever been on it. So that's why I think it's kind of cool. Because usually it's always the Heisman winner the year before. Yeah.
And I love, and I don't even have a problem with the players that they picked. It's the photo that they picked. They're not playing football. They're not doing football activities. Like even in the deluxe edition where they're coming out of the tunnel, that's sick. I mean, they're all coming out there. You presume they're going out to play a football game, or just all the other covers of every sports game for the history of time have been them playing their sport. This just looks like they were at a photo shoot in a football stadium wearing football clothes. And
it's like one of us could have been on the cover.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what gets me, is they weren't doing anything football related in the cover of the football video game. But I love the players that they picked. I think those are three really good players. Got to have a representative of Michigan. There's nobody there from the team last year, so Donovan Edwards gets that by default. Quinn Ewers is mightily established quarterback in the SEC, and then Travis Hunter is a superstar. So,
yeah, I almost had a double take when you said established quarterback in the SEC. That's right. Texas moving into the SEC this year. Big Ten's looking good. You'll appreciate this, or maybe you won't. So, at my new job, there's a security guard who. He's a super nice guy, but he just so fucking loves to just talk and talk and talk. And I swear to God, I've known this guy for 3 days, and I've talked to him for more hours than I've talked to anybody in my office. And he loves college football. So once he found out that I was a Hawkeye fan, he just keeps, every time I see him, he brings up the Hawkeyes. And he's so fucking pissed off at the Hawkeyes. Like, basically his whole thing is, how do you have that defense, that special teams, and you never go and get a quarterback? I was like, I don't know, dude. Punting's awesome. I don't know what to say. He's more upset about it than I am. I don't know. It's fun. I'm having fun with it.
I mean, you guys were in the General Booty sweepstakes.
Yeah. Wait, we were? Is he not coming to us?
Yeah, I think he decided. I guess I can look it up.
I saw it. He was. I want to say it was like Toledo or something like that, or was it Miss Monroe?
Yeah, it was some real like elite teams. So there was Iowa in the mix, but then he eventually went with the University of Louisiana at Monroe.
Yeah, that's what
it's not even a directional school, just a donor school where they just have to start naming it after people. We ran out of directions and states, so
yeah, Ole Miss really directional up there. But speaking of Iowa being elite teams, Brandon, I would like you to go to your Twitter account and pull up the tweet that I sent you just this morning.
I deleted Twitter, but I'll log back in for this.
Yeah, log back in. Yep. So make a new account. I'll send it to you again. But there is a tier list that was released. So speaking of the NCAA football, EA Sports paid universities in tiers based on their top 10, AP coaches poll standings over the past 10 years. There's 4 different tiers. There's probably about 10 to 12 teams in the first tier, probably 20 teams in the second tier, double that in the third tier, and the rest of the teams in the fourth tier. And I just want to take a look at this list, kind of dissect it, kind of break it down, maybe see what we notice, as it were.
It's a lot more notifications than I was expecting. Yeah, I deleted Twitter as soon as the Nuggets lost.
Oh, dude, you can't do that.
Dude, I had to for my own mental well-being. I needed to.
But now that I saw a tweet that I thought you would be all over. Was it was LeBron James crying, laughing on the bench, and it said Anthony Edwards went from Kobe/Jordan to he's just 22. He needs more time to figure things out in just 5 days, and it was just LeBron just fucking crying, laughing, putting his glasses back on. Like that's a Brandon Shanahan tweet if I've ever seen one.
Oh man, you see, but I like Anthony Edwards. I don't want to.
I do too, but it's just, honest. But fuck them, they beat us.
So okay, actually, before before we get into this, I did have a question. When a team beats your favorite team in the playoffs, do you want them to win?
No, absolutely not. Like, I do love the Wolves, but I want them to lose so fucking bad. I don't want them to have any happiness.
I think going into it, especially with the Wolves, is like, okay, well, if the Nuggets don't win, then I want the Wolves to win. Because also, fun fact, since 2018, the Nuggets have either won the championship or lost to the eventual champion. So second best team, even in the worst years. I think that's pretty cool. But now after losing to Minnesota, and like objectively, I probably still want that to be true, but like emotionally, I'm like, I want them all to feel pain. I'm
Especially when you're in the mud with the fans during the series, like, you know what I mean? It's just tough to drop those guards down, especially
yeah.
so soon. Like, if they were in the finals, I might think about rooting for them because I don't want the Celtics to win
I
because
don't want the Celtics. And I just
don't
think
want the
it's funny.
Celtics to win. It is me too, yeah. Because like, yeah, they're paying these guys. I mean, Jason Tatum 300 million, Jalen Brown 290 million, Devin White's going to get 300 million, and they just still can't win the big one because Jason Tatum. I love it when people say that Jason Tatum sucks. It's my favorite thing in the world. Obviously he doesn't suck. Obviously he's very good at basketball, but when people say he sucks, it's so fucking funny.
I mean, in his defense, the Eastern Conference is just a slaughter fest. So I mean, it's really tough to get out of there and win a championship. That's another thing that
Yeah,
pisses me off about like when I look back at this Denver run. It's just why couldn't we have just been in the Eastern Conference?
yeah, but I mean, honestly, once I found out that stat that a defending champion hasn't made it past the second round since the 2019 or 2018 Warriors, 2019 Warriors, whatever. It's been 5 years. It made me feel a little bit better because it is tough. It is tough because you are playing a lot of basketball really late into the season. You get 2 months off, and then you're right back into training camp. That's a tough schedule to live for. These are professional athletes, no excuses given. They were all in shape. They all wanted to play. They're all ready to play. But it is. I mean, it's tough. It's a grind, and they're going to enjoy the summer. They're still going to be really fucking good next year. I do think we missed a lot of depth on our bench. Bruce Brown, to name one, he was one of my favorite players. And obviously he got broke off. He got a bag, and good for him. It's just we just missed a lot of depth. We didn't have it, and Nikola Jokic having to play 47 minutes. Yeah, he's the best player in the world, but if we give him maybe 5 more minutes, maybe he's hitting a couple threes. But realistically, we lost that game in the third quarter when we let them score 20 unanswered points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for emptying the tank on Game 7, but also maybe let them sit for 5 minutes when you're up 19 points in the second half.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, absolutely, you're right.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I was just interested because going into it, I'm like, if Denver doesn't win, I want Minnesota to win. But now that it's actually happened, I don't. And there's no good reason. I like Minnesota. I like Anthony Edwards. I like the fact that if Denver can't be the champions, it's probably better optically for the team that beat them to win the championship. It's like, oh well, we just ran into them early. But also, okay, so we'll get back into this, and we'll probably circle back.
We're definitely gonna circle back because I have thoughts. So I'm gonna write them down so I don't forget. But yeah, going into the tier rankings, I just want to point this out. So in the tiers, obviously Alabama, one of the best schools in the nation over the past 10 years, thanks to Nick Saban. Michigan, similar situation. John Harbaugh, no longer there, but he built that program from the ground up. They were in shambles before. Ohio State, I don't really. Yeah, they could be on that list. Penn State, Big Ten representation strong here. Oklahoma, I don't get that, but whatever. I don't get to choose it. Iowa,
Multiple playoff
that's big.
appearances. Ran the
That's
Big
big.
12 for the last 15 years.
Fuck Oklahoma. How about that?
Well, I mean, you were just indicating why you didn't know that they were on there.
Fuck Oklahoma. How about that? All right, that's okay. So I do know why they're on there, but fuck them. How about that?
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Oregon, dope uniforms. I get why they're up there. You get, hey, top 10 uniforms, easy. Put them in there. Oklahoma State. All right, explain that one to me. Have they really been that good over the past 10 years?
No, I can't really explain them. They won. Nope, they didn't win the Big 12 championship. They lost to Baylor.
Are they just in this list because of Mike Van Gundy's mullet? That'd be. I mean, if that's the case, that's fine with me. I just don't.
I mean, yeah. I got nothing. I got nothing. I mean, I like Oklahoma State. I like thinking of them as a tier 1 program, but objectively, I can't. I can't think.
So, do you think this list is invalidated seeing Iowa up there? Or are you finally going to give Iowa their flowers for being a decent program over the past 10 years?
I was certainly easy, and also why I'm not. I'm happy I'm not glad on Twitter because this would hurt my feelings for sure. Also, a quick shout out in the bottom right, OSU Zach pointing out that Texas is in fact broke. So shout out there.
Thanks, Zach. Hot on the fucking press, hot on the trail.
I wouldn't say it invalidates it because so it goes back over 10 years. That's tier 1 does seem a bit crazy, but also like who would you put? Florida State playing national championship.
At least 4 different Big Ten national championships. And Florida State, you're right, but they had some down, and that's just crazy because they did have some down years, but arguably more success than Iowa. But Iowa's just been consistent. I think they've had 10 wins 7 times over those 10 years. Like
a year or two where Florida State ddidn't make a bowl game after Jimbo left. Same thing with USC. Same thing with Texas before Sark got there. Yeah, you know what? I guess if we're just going off of so I'll say this. If we're going off of highest floors, Iowa should be on there. Oklahoma State should be on there. That's probably is why they are on there. Because I don't think any of these teams have missed a bowl game in the last 10 years. I guess Michigan's eventually, like the bowl game they played in last year, will get invalidated because of their coaching staff. But that's future that's problem. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
Let me get into the real reason why I brought this up. And I want you to know, I looked in tier 2. Okay, that's fine. They haven't had the most success. I looked in tier 3. Wow, wait, I must have missed something. And then I saw the big red N in tier 4, and I gasped. I saw Eastern Michigan, Maryland, UAB, Nebraska. What is going on down there, buddy?
I get it. It's from the past 10 years. It's pretty fucked up that there's 90,000. Is that 1,000 or are those commas? No, that's 1,000.
Those are commas.
Okay. So a $90,000 difference judging my favorite football program on the worst decade in school history. That's tough. That's bad timing. I'll tell you what. Also feels just a little bit unnecessary to keep them at like the lower end of that tier 4. Like I don't think you needed. I mean, you could have just put them up in the first 2 rows. I think that would have been fine. Maybe they're just
because it's not in alphabetical order because Cal's right next to Rutgers, so it's like it was arbitrarily placed.
Yeah, so I don't know how that goes, but yeah, that hurts my feelings. But yeah, tough, just bad timing. But also I do just want to say that $90,000 isn't going to make or break a football program. But
no, because if it was, we wouldn't have had recruits leaving us in the middle of fucking spring camp.
Well, going back to Alabama, treated him like a person and acknowledged as being there, and then maybe the money would have been fine.
Maybe it would have, but hey, you live and you learn, or you don't learn at all, and that's the Iowa way. You still play football like it's doing things like 1972. Exactly. All right, that's pretty much all I wanted to do with that list. So thank you for letting me have that. That was a nice little breakfast I got to eat. I do want to go back to talk about the Nuggets. I want to go back to talking about the Timberwolves, and I want to go. I want to explain why I don't want the Wolves to win anymore, because obviously they're an awesome team. Obviously, I love Anthony Davis. Obviously, he played out of his mind for most of that series, and I argue that his leadership and his kind of poise throughout the entire series also lifted that team in Game 7. That was the reason why they were able to come back, even though he didn't have the best game. But I can't stand the fucking narratives that the Nuggets are washed. And, it happens every year. It's recency bias. It's overreaction. The Nuggets are washed. The Timberwolves are anointed. The Timberwolves are going to go on this incredible dynasty run. They're so young. They're so talented. No, they're fucking not. All right. Then it's still the fucking Nuggets conference until somebody says otherwise. Yeah, no fucking defending champion has made it past the second round in 5 years. Let's see fucking next year. Let's see you do it a little bit. Let's see you do it a couple more years in a row, and then I'll give you guys your flowers. But it's so funny. It's so tasty, and your haterness is rubbing off on me a little bit. Them being down 0-2. Oh, God, I just want to go back for seconds. It's tasty.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I was like, oh, hey, yeah, you know what? Maybe it is harder to win at home than you made it look. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I had to get off Twitter is because I see that narrative, or the narrative that well, the Nuggets were just fraudulent, in their
Mm-hmm.
championship run last year. Oh, they played an 8th and a 7th seed, and that drives me crazy because like those
Oh
8
yeah,
and 7 seeds, like they beat those fucking 2 seeds. So
yeah,
I don't know what we're talking about here. Um, but I think I think what kind of validates that championship more than anything is the fact that it's impossible to not impossible. We're in a different era of the NBA where it's so hard to repeat because so many teams have two superstars and another all stars. Well, I guess not every team has that. The Nuggets have Nikola Jokic and 0 all stars, 0 defensive player of the year, 0 all defensive NBA teams, 0 of all of that, but they still found a way to go 16-4 last year. But it's tough, and it's only going to get tougher because these guys get more and more expensive. I also got to say it hurts specifically the fact that Tim Connolly is running the Timberwolves now, and especially because it felt like they really built this team specifically to beat the Denver Nuggets. So it wouldn't surprise me if they lost to the Mavericks or the Celtics or whoever because they're not built exactly like the Denver Nuggets, who this team was clearly built to beat.
yeah. And you're right. That's just such good team management, though. It's like, yeah, beat the best team in the league. You know what I mean? Like that's what you want to build your team as. So I don't understand. I don't blame them for wanting them to building them to beat the Nuggets. I love what the Wolves have built. It's been basically just on defense, on hustle, just on knowing where you're at. But also, you go and get a superstar that can get you fucking 40 a game, like Ant can. He's shown he can. And then you have the auxiliary players like Mike Connolly, to name one. I know Nikola Jokic gave him his flowers after the end of the series. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he's a very, very talented player, especially defensively. He's if I'm playing an NBA 2K franchise, he's one of those guys that I always go and trade for just because he's going to be so good defensively. He never pans out offensively, and that bums me out in that game. But that's neither here nor there. They're an exciting team. It's just I don't want them to win this year.
Yeah, it is. I think it might be like the biggest low key flex of all time that Tim Connolly spent 10 years building the Nuggets. And then goes to a team and says, that team that I built is so fucking good. Now I got to find the answer to that. And he fucking does it. I don't think that gets talked about enough. That's an insane thing to do. It's
That's
one championship caliber team, but then to build another championship caliber team to beat the first championship caliber team that you put together. I mean, what a flex!
And almost within when did he leave? Like I want to say 3 or 4 years ago.
Last year was the first year without him.
Oh shit! So yeah, that was fast then.
Yeah. So I mean, minus like Bruce Brown and KCP, that whole team was Connolly.
That's crazy. I didn't realize. So I guess what I was going to say is like the equivalent of Theo Epstein building the Red Sox into finally winning a championship and then going to the Chicago Cubs and winning a championship. But that took him almost 2 decades, or at least a decade.
I didn't realize I was the same guy who did that. That's insane because now you're winning championship with teams who haven't won it in a century. And
I know.
To do that again, that's crazy.
There's a reason why he's not doing it anymore. He's like, I'm good. I'm gonna take a couple years off.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for another 30 years so another team hits that century mark.
Mets are there, so
hey, let's go.
Speaking of that, I really wanted Tyler on because I wanted to. I hate baseball.
I saw something that made me think of you. It was like a TikTok of this guy going, like talking about like when an NFL team loses one of their 17 games, and like, well, it's just part of the deal. We're still in the playoff hunt. But when your baseball team loses one of their 162 games, this is the worst.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. The Mets are, I want to say 9-21 in their last 30. That's tough. I finished with all of my work. I'm going to set the stage for you right here. It'll be quick. I finished with all my work. I finally got done. It was the first real day I got to do actual work, and I had deadlines and everything that I had to meet. It was great. I got done early. I turned on the Mets game. I saw that they were winning 6-3 in the bottom of inning number 8 or top of inning number 8. Bases were loaded, but there were 2 outs. The pitcher on the mound, Reed Gary, had an 0-2 count or he had a 1-2 count on the batter. The very fucking second I turned this stupid fucking game on in my phone, Reed Garrett throws a fastball low and inside to the left-hander Patrick Bailey, and Patrick Bailey sends that ball back to fucking LaGuardia, and it pissed me the fuck off. It was a go-ahead grand slam, put them up by 1. They end up hitting another home run on the top of the ninth. The Mets lose by 1 because they get one back in the bottom of the ninth. And god damn it, they've lost 4 in a row. Actually, yep, 4 in a row, and I can't watch baseball anymore. Like, baseball season's already over, but it's too early for that because there's no OTAs right now. There's no camps right now, so I can't focus on football. It's just I got nothing going on for me. The Nuggets lost. I got nothing, Brandon.
Yeah, I can't avoid it. Can't avoid them.
But yeah, it's tough. Like the Mets just are so boring to watch because they're not a bad team. They're just not a good team. They're average. They're just so average. And it's not the auxiliary players. It's not like there's not talent on the roster. It's our fucking core guys that just don't do anything. They're so inconsistent. They underperform constantly. Brandon Nimmo's the one bright spot on the team, but that's just because he hustles everywhere. If he didn't hustle, he'd be just okay too. Francisco Lindor, I love him to death. He's my shortstop. I want to get his jersey. I love him, but god fucking damn it, dude. Can you please not hit 199 as we head into June? Like, can you please just hit 250 and then figure it out? Like, god fucking damn. Pete Alonso, he's starting to get hot a little bit, but that dude, anytime there's a runner on base, he fucking tries to swing out of his shoes and misses every time. That dude loves striking out with runners on base, and he also loves hitting solo fucking home runs because I'm not going to say it. He just loves hitting solo home runs. I love him for it, but I wish he would hit, I don't know, maybe doubles with runners on base and score some runs once in a while. What else? Who else do I got? Jeff McNeil. That dude needs to put a fucking knob on his back because I'm tired of hearing about that knobless motherfucker just not getting any hits, being the hits god he claims to be. Kodai Senga, I don't think he has a fucking tricep anymore or whatever the fuck's going on down there because he hasn't pitched in fucking years, it seems like. They keep shutting him down because there's inflammation on his shoulder cap, on his tricep, on his biceps. Like, dude, figure it out or get a new arm. I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah, that's what I got. That's all I got. I just needed events.
Being the fan of a bottom dweller like the Rockies, it has been nice because, like, all the disappointments expected and, worn in at this point. But then they go on a 7-game winning streak, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Then you get to see their players shining. Like, oh, this is going to be great for a World Series contender here in a couple of years for whoever they trade for pennies on the dollar. So,
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know the Mets are going to win. Actually, to your point, I think the Mets will win 7 in a row at some point within the next few weeks, and then I'm going to be right back in. Because, like I said, they are average. They'll probably finish around 81 and 81. Like, I don't think this team is, 21 losses in their last 30 games bad, but I do think that they're just not good enough to do anything. So I'm hoping we're sellers at the deadline. I'm hoping we don't go 88-1 and 81. I would prefer just go to like 70 and 92. That would be ideal for me because that means we traded some guys, a la Pete Alonso, a la like a Starling Marte, just shit like that. And then, we got better in our minor leagues. That's what I want.
Yeah, it feels like it's time. I mean, I think when you had to trade off Scherzer and DeGrom, it kind of felt like if you can't win a World Series with this core offensively and those two aces, kind of gotta hit the restart button.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And I think, it's time now. David Stearns was in the Mets booth yesterday talking about it. And he made a good point. Like, at this point in the season, there's no reason to make any like long-term sweeping decisions about the roster. This is Stearns' first year in New York. Obviously, he knows players. Obviously, he knows the scouting reports. But, he wants to see them in action. And he's right because this year was always going to be kind of a not necessarily a down year, but a year that we were not necessarily going for it. You know what I mean? Because it was an evaluation year. We wanted to prepare our minor leagues, build those guys up. We wanted to let the market cool a little bit in free agency, let it sit. And I think next year they're going to be really aggressive, but it's just frustrating. I love baseball, and it's just so fucking sad to watch. Every time I turn on the game, the Mets lose the lead. And I'm reminded by that Seinfeld joke, where he's in the car rental place. It's like, you have the reservation, but you don't know how to hold the reservation. And really holding the reservation is the most important part. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But I saw somebody kind of impose a lead. So you know how to get a lead, but you don't know how to hold a lead. And realistically, holding the lead is the most important part of having a lead. So, yeah, we're going to be all right. I've been here before. I know how to pick myself back up. It's fine.
Yeah. We'll swing back around. I did have a horrible car rental experience
Go ahead.
So a couple weeks ago, I was meeting my folks up in Wichita, so I was going to rent a car. So I reserved the car, and then I'm on the way to pick up the car, and they call me and say we don't have the car. This was at like 7:30. I'm like, you haven't even opened yet. How do you already not have the car that I reserved? You know, that same bit.
Yeah,
I
literally.
reserved the car? Where's the car that
Like
So then I'm like,
literally.
all right, whatever. I've seen Seinfeld. I know this is common. It is what it is. So I called another place and I reserve a car, and I'm like, do you promise that you have this car? I'll come get it right now. And they're like, yes. And then we go through everything. And then I think this is where things went wrong. So I got to talking to the guy. Very nice guy. Very good at his job. He said he hinted he played college ball, and I asked him about it. He said that he played at South Alabama, and I asked him when he played at South Alabama, and it was right at the time that that Nebraska had beat South Alabama. So then I mentioned that I'm a Husker fan, and now all of a sudden, since I made the same day reservation, I had to pay an extra $500 deposit. They had to run a credit score. They had to do all this to at the end of the transaction. Didn't mention any of that before I mentioned I was a Husker fan, so being discriminated on, it's already tough enough. But it's all because it was a same day reservation. Well, it's only a same day reservation because your sister company or your sister franchise or whatever over there didn't have the car that I reserved. Technically, I made a reservation 7 days ago.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, that's fucked up.
It's fucked up, but I think it's just because I'm discriminated against for being a. It's easy to hate us, I guess. Everybody wants to be us.
Sure, they sure do, buddy. Yeah, hey, I love that attitude. You know, chip on your shoulder everywhere you go. That's nice. Well, shit. Is that where you are now, or are you back home, kind of?
I'm back up north in Omaha. I took an airplane this time to
Okay.
avoid all that fiasco and avoid that
Yeah.
discrimination.
So that's what you meant about bringing donuts over to Tyler's house. Man, I wish you would have done
Yeah,
that.
I mean that was a serious offer. I'm like,
I just want to have a little coffee with the boys. You know, start our day. It's been a while since we all got together and talked to each other. Tyler hasn't been on in a fucking month, at least since about the draft.
and we were talking. I think it was last week. I'm like, well, we're probably not missing much. And then the next day they announced the NFL schedules. I'm like, all right, maybe we're missing a little bit.
Yeah. But then again, like
I
the
still
schedule's always
go.
going to be there. Schedule's on the piece of paper. And like I said, I still don't know the Broncos schedule. So I think sometime this week I'll look at it and then we can talk about it next week. We'll do it. We'll do our own schedule review.
Do you think so? I mean, honestly, we won't be able to get Lewis Hamilton involved, but I mean, we'll be able to put something together.
I also, God, what else was I did want to say to you? I mean, I think it's pretty much all I have. I do want to put, so we were talking about like stuff we want to do for, stuff we want to do for social media and stuff. And that Mets rant's definitely going on social media.
For sure.
And I think that I need to be more on top of that because I do want to get that going. I'm just so fucking. It's like getting started is the hardest part. So it's like I'm just being so lazy about it. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun summer, especially when NCAA comes out. How are we doing with the documentary for the NCAA?
Documentary? I think that's D. That's dead. We do have some cool stuff coming up, especially college football.
Put it on the life support. It's not dead yet. We can still figure it out. We can still get it going. It's only the end of the day.
The concept was that we would do kind of the heavy lifting of the recording here while I'm in town.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was kind of so I would say coming in to the weekend I was on life support, and it is what it is.
Were you in contact with like a Brooke and Tyler type person about maybe scheduling something like that?
Yeah, vaguely. But it doesn't seem like there was a whole lot of interest in making that work.
Yeah. I mean, I knew when Tyler was texting me at 3 a.m., it was going to be tough for him to make it to this podcast. And then he texted me at 4. He texted us at 4 a.m. and said, I have my alarm set for 8:15. So, I mean, hey, at least
by the way. locally.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, at least he made an effort. At least he set an alarm. There's that. We got that going for us. So at least he cared about us enough to set an alarm. Didn't wake up for it, but he set it.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. But Brandon, I have to get to work soon, so I want you. No, but hey, all the time in the world. Do you have anything else you would like to talk about?
No, I think that's it. Good recap. We're back.
We are back. Hey, the boys are back in town. Hey, that was like a summer respite. We took our little rumspringa. We took our little couple weeks off, and now we're back hitting it hard. So you're good on Saturday mornings moving forward to record?
Yeah, I have no
Okay,
issues
cool.
with that.
I am too. So we don't have to do it this early for you guys every single time. What's a good time for you?
I mean, I probably would say that. Well, at least for me, the earlier the better. I have a feeling with our other co-hosts that might not be the case.
Well, I'm thinking like 9:30 for you guys as opposed to 8:30. 8:30 is a little early. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like getting you guys up at 8:15. I know. I was sorry about it, but I said I'd work this other job, and I mean I could use the money, but dude, get this. I get fucking 2.5 times pay on fucking Monday. I can't wait.
Dude, that's kind of sick.
I know. I mean, making like $65 an hour. That's gonna be great. If you do the math, you can tell how much I actually make normally. It's not a lot.
I was already running the oh, nice. How do you think you're gonna like working the 2 to 10 hours?
I mean, so it's basically what I've been working my entire life, right? Because as a server, I mean, it's 3 to 11 right now. So basically, I get there at 3, do the pull stuff. It gets recorded at 5. So that's why I got to get that knocked out right, as soon as possible. And then we work on just news stories for the upcoming broadcast when we do it live. So it's what I've been doing the entire time. I do wish it was a 9 to 5, per se, just because I kind of flipped my sleep schedule around this past 6 months to where I do wake up at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So now I have to go back to my old sleep schedule, which is fine. I prefer to get off work and kind of be able to do stuff. So getting off work and everything's just, it's just dark and close. I don't know. It's all right. Because it's just hard to feel productive before work, but it's easy to feel productive after work just because, you already had that momentum going. You know.
Already in motion.
Exactly. So it'll be fine. I've been really fucking tired this week just because I've been getting like 6 hours sleep every day and, just, rinse and repeat. But I think I'm going to like it a lot. It is one thing I do like about my job. It would be considered kind of boring just because I'm sitting at a computer all day, but the amount of resources I have at my fingertips, because we're just able, the company I work for, they have over 4,600 local journalists, I think 400 different stations around the country. And we have access to all their databases. We have access to all their cameras, and we can pretty much do whatever we want with these news stories. So it allows me to be really creative. Honestly, it's good practice too. So yeah, I'm really excited about this job.
That's sick.
Yeah. But well, Brandon, thank you so much for getting on early. I hope you enjoy your wedding. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Your baby mama make the trip up, or she stick back home?
No, she's in Texas still on her travel ban.
That makes sense. When's the due date?
About 4 weeks now.
Ooh, that's exciting. You terrified?
Well, I kind of have this bit going on that in my mind where like I'm just gonna say it's the easiest thing I've ever done, and just like try to gaslight parents who are like, it'll get harder. Oh well, just you wait till no, dude, this shit's easy. I don't know. Your baby just must suck. Mine's so fucking bad.
You got a bad baby, bad batch.
Yeah,
I love that.
You know what? It's probably not the bad baby. It's probably bad. I'm not saying it. Your baby,
bad womb. Bad womb.
Maybe
bad womb.
Maybe that's gotta look inside.
Yeah, look inward, not outward.
Yeah, gotta listen to some David Goggins, self-reflect. Maybe it's on you. Maybe you gotta take some accountability. I don't know. But this shit's easy.
That. Well, okay. So we're gonna have to figure that out when I'm inevitably recording, because obviously you're gonna need time to take care of your baby. I don't fault you for that. So we have to figure out a way that I can just record by myself, because Tyler's obviously never going to join us. So
we'll
cross that road when we get there.
It was nice having him while he was here. Those were some good times.
Sunday with the sprinkle. We'll just drop the S.
Gone but never forgotten.
All right, Pete. Speaking of that, Happy Memorial Day weekend. You can't really say Happy Memorial Day weekend. It's kind of
it's
weird.
It's kind of a somber day. More like
I used to work at a veteran heavy bar, and I did the first year I started working there. I said, "Hey, Happy Memorial Day" to somebody. He said, "It's not happy." So, shit,
joyful days. Remembering the people that have died. So thank you for that.
Okay, let's get out of here. Have a good one, Brandon. It was good talking to you, buddy.
See you, pal.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me do the outro. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Comment, subscribe. I know, like I said, I know it's been a couple of weeks, so appreciate if you're watching now. Appreciate you sticking with us. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this show this summer, especially coming into the football season. I know the boys are excited. Me and Brandon have a lot of ideas. Just following through on them isn't always the easiest thing because life gets in the way. Brandon's having a kid. I started a new job. I graduated, but we're gonna get there because the boys are cooking. The boys are always eating, and we're gonna chef some shit up.
Operations starting to ramp up here.
I love that.
It's been more like the off season. Once you get back into game form, I mean, watch out.
I'm with it.
A lot of fun.
I fuck with the vision. But thank you, everybody. So for Brandon Shanahan, Brett Sprinkle, even Tyler Sprinkle sometimes, I'll throw Brooke Byrne in there for all of us. Appreciate you guys listening. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and we will talk to you next week.